Okay, welcome back to the Barrett channel and another video. Today I'd like to talk about China's rising power. Can it be stopped? Personally, I don't think it should be stopped. However, the USA seem to think it should. Now, you all know that the trade policy, the trade war policy, has been a central pillar of the Trump administration so far. But this is not where it started. This sort of stopping China's rise of power goes back to the Obama administration. Obama produced a thesis at that time that suggested that America was spending too much money, too much effort, and getting bogged down in many conflicts in the Middle East, and suggested the policy should change. So it used its military, its economical and its political power to stop the economic and technological and political rise of China. Ever since that time, there's been a sort of big attempt, or a huge attempt to stop China's rise of power. Obviously, the US are not going to military attack China, but they seem to have a 360-degree attack approach on everything else. And during that time, you know, if we start by just their media, you know, anything that is reported in the American and other Western media about China is always negative. They even managed to put a negative spin on some of the most positive things. You know, I just find it unbelievable sometimes how they manage to do that. Anyway, let's look at some of the facts of this. So first of all, as I mentioned, they have the media. The trade policy, they are trying to inflict economic problems towards China with putting tariffs on many goods, and they've not only done that, technology, they've put Huawei and a number of other tech companies on a blacklist to stop them purchasing American technologies. And you know, I believe actually this will backfire on them. It will make China more determined to develop their own stuff, so they don't become reliant on the US. Other things that America are doing is that they not only have the trade war, but they are looking at financial ways to attack China. And it's been recently suggested by the Trump administration that Chinese companies on the New York Stock Exchange or American exchanges should be delisted, and Chinese companies shouldn't be able to be allowed to list on the American stock exchanges. As well as this, they've massively discouraged investments by Chinese companies into American companies, and I believe, you know, so far Chinese investment has dropped by some 80% into American companies. On top of that, they have or they are trying to pass laws to stop American companies investing in Chinese companies. So there's all these sort of financial things, and in fact, to some extent, America uses its financial muscle to target other countries. So again, this is another thing. And if you look at what's just recently happened, America have passed two bills, one against issues in Xinjiang and one against issues in Hong Kong. And in my opinion, these have no basis whatsoever. In fact, I really don't understand what it's got to do with America at all. You know, Hong Kong and Xinjiang are Chinese sovereign territory. It's no business at all of the US to start interfering in them. I think that the wider picture here is they really, I think America are really not that bothered about what's really happening in those territories. I think the ultimate goal is to create, just to make China look bad in the minds of the Western people. So people generally will then turn more anti-Chinese and support the government of the US to bring more sanctions against China. And really all this is just to stop the rise of China. You know, for the last many years, America has been very dominant in a number of areas, technology, finance, and that's brought, you know, many good things to the world. But, you know, and I think, you know, if you go back 20 or 30 years, America weren't the slightest bit interested really what was happening in China. It's only since China have woke up and their rise has started to gain momentum. You know, they have become a huge power now on the world stage. Their economy is second only to the USA, and their technological advancements have been astounding. You know, that's down to them spending and you know, making efforts to educate a lot of engineers, scientists, mathematicians, etc. I do have another video about this here if you'd like to watch that. But as I say, you know, now America are very interested in all things China, and I believe it's just a narrative just to make China look bad in the eyes of many Western people, to justify their policies of you know, sanctioning China, of you know, doing all these things, because it seems to me that America are absolutely scared of China overtaking them in these areas. I personally believe, and I wish that these countries could you know, come to some sort of truce and work out their differences and work together. I think if they work together, it'd be to the benefit of the whole population around the world. But it seems that is not going to happen. I feel that the USA are building another Berlin Wall, and I think they are more and more wanting to decouple from China. And I think all that will cause to happen is that they will force all the other countries around the world to choose sides. You know, and what do America have to offer? What do China have to offer? I think America have to offer is that they will, you know, they have military things to offer. They will offer to defend their allies against hostile attacks. Whereas China, on the other end, they will offer economic cooperation. Those other countries will be able to make money by becoming the ally of China. I think that, you know, China are not a sort of nation that will go around attacking other countries. There obviously is the South China Sea issue, and it will be interesting to see how that plays out over time. And I just think that by working together, China and America, the world would be a much more prosperous and better place. You know, 30 years ago, America were very pragmatic when they saw no threat at all from China. That has changed now, and it's really, I think it's China who are the pragmatic one. You know, there's been a huge shift in foreign policy by the US. Okay, so that brings me to the end of this video. I just want to say I'm certainly no expert on this topic. Many topics I'm no expert on, but I just want to give my thoughts, my comments about these topics. I live here in China, and I, you know, just tell what I see with my own eyes, and talking to Chinese people, how they feel about the situation, etc., etc. So yeah, that brings me to the end of this video. I'd like to say a number of our videos do get monetized, and I'd like to give a huge thank you of appreciation to those people who support the channel on Buy Me a Coffee. The link's down below if you want to use it, and we've also now set up a Patreon account, and so you can support us through Patreon as well. But as always, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps us. If you like the channel, then please subscribe. We are still finding our subscribers are getting deleted. I do understand YouTube have a policy where they will, try to weed out bots, but we have many subscribers who are genuine subscribers, leave proper comments, involve themselves in the conversation, that get deleted. So please check your subscription. If you've been unsubscribed, hit that subscribe button again. And if you want to be notified straight away of our new videos, hit the bells. Again, it would be great, as always, to get involved in some discussion below. I try to respond to as many comments as possible, although I can't promise to respond to everything. But as always, for now, take care.